Saturday. Welcome to the Saturday Spiritual Show. We finally have a name for this Saturday. I've decided to call it the Saturday Spiritual Show. I'm so excited to be here today because today's topic is about the 3 steps to God. I thought it was bold, I thought it was simple, but before we start, I want to know, where are you coming from today? And if you're watching this on the replay, let us know in the comments below. Tell me what you think. Oh my goodness, you guys, already so many comments that just stepped on. We've got Shelly G, Richard, Chris B, Craig. Hello, Cheryl. Good to see you. Happy Saturday. And interestingly enough, as soon as I started, the ring light went out. I guess that is just going to determine we need a new ring light. Okay. Anyways, yesterday we spoke to Dr. Jeff Driscoll about owning your own divinity. And today is kind of like a continuation. So normally I go live on Saturday today. Yesterday we did a bonus live with Dr. Jeff and we talked about owning your divinity. And today is about why it's important to own your divinity. So let's see. Yes, it will be a good one, says Craig. And then lighting seems to be fine with it. Okay, good. All right. So without further ado, I want to get into why I called today 3 Steps to God. And I was wondering what you guys would be thinking about that title, because it is bold, isn't it? And in addition to what you think about the title, what have you been thinking about since yesterday if you were here? If you weren't here, that's okay. I just wanted to know what you thought of yesterday's show. Hi, Renata. Good to see you. Richard, Cheryl, Ed. Okay, if I ever miss someone's comment, just repeat it at the bottom. Sometimes the comments scroll by really quick and I miss it, but I always want to answer. Okay, so let's talk about the 3 steps and why I chose it. So I sat here for about half an hour deciding what I was going to call it today. And I went from what Alpha and Omega is, and I went through a few different titles, and then I landed with this one because it was the most direct. And I feel like, since we were talking about our divinity yesterday, that it's something I believe that everybody wants to know is who they are, where they came from, and where they're going. And I think all of those roads lead to Rome, meaning God. All right. Craig wasn't here, but I do like Jeff. Yeah, Dr. Jeff. Good. Awesome. You guys are on a roll already. So let me start here. I'm just going to grab my notes that I took this morning when I was sitting here. Okay, so there's a ladder towards what some people would call, I'm really reluctant to use terms that are overly religious because I want to be all-inclusive. But let's just use this term for the sake of fully understanding. Everybody wants to be in a safe place. They want to be loved. They want to be I think I could use other articulations. They want to feel completely, I want to say, accepted. That's the word that I want to say. And that place is God for many people, because on earth, oftentimes we feel like we can't find that level of love and acceptance and where we could just let down our guard and just be ourselves. Let this mind, and this is from David, I'm reading this, let this mind be in you, which was in Christ Jesus, who thought it not robbery to be equal to God. Yay! Hey, that's a great segue, David, for exactly what I'm getting into. So you're right on the vibe. You're right on the vibe. Okay, so the first rung on the ladder of 3 steps to God is what we believe. And that is, I just want to read my notes that I made here. Belief is first, and this is what man thinks perhaps is the truth. So perhaps is the truth. So your belief is what you think perhaps is the truth. So you hold on to it because this is what you choose to believe is the truth, and you think it. And then the next step on the rung is faith. And this is what you know to be true. And this is where a lot of healing happens. This is really where, when you know, and you first believe, and then you know you are healed. And oftentimes Jesus mentioned that by your faith you are healed. So it's not just believing your belief system, but your faith in it. And this is a really, really big step towards moving towards God, because once you start to go from beliefs to faith, and then faith melts into another, and that is fruition. So fruition is like when things are coming to be. For example, thank you very much. Things are coming to fruition. Like, I got to tell you, where I am right now, there's a lemon tree. And this lemon tree just gave all of its fruit out. I'm making an analogy here, so thanks for your patience. So the lemon tree made all of this fruit. And I picked all the lemons. And then what happened is new blooms came immediately with the most amazing scent. I love the scent of fruit blooms. Anyways, so I was thinking about that this morning and how the fruit comes out of the tree just like we come into fruition. And what am I talking about? What does fruition mean, and what is it relating to lemons on a tree? Well, once we understand that God is in us and that we are God collectively, and that God isn't somewhere in a faraway distance, isn't somewhere in the sky, God isn't away from us or unattainable, or that we have to be a certain way to have God's love. God is right here, and the way we have to learn to be in fruition, is to manifest God. Boom. There it is. So those are the 3 rungs on the ladder towards God. So God, heaven, isn't somewhere else. And as soon as we come to that realization, then we can meet and become one with God through our hearts. So the connection is through our heart. The rungs are belief, faith, and fruition. And this is where we are moving into a new dimension. Why am I talking about this? Why is it important? Because I'm beginning to recognize that in the world we live in, that there is a lot of confusion. And there's a lot of, and I'm not judging it in the sense where I think it's wrong or bad. No. What I'm trying to say is there seems to be so much confusion and nowhere to sort of rest your head on, nowhere to just be at peace and at ease with. And I really want to create a space and a place for you, for me, for this community to just feel confident in that our success in meeting with God is inevitable. It's just a matter of going through these steps. And the things that are happening around us can be overpowered with God's will through force, and will through you. So what do I mean by force? I don't mean forcing people. I mean the force and the will of God comes through us through power, and the power to manifest great things, positive things, namely love, and creating an environment where we're super happy. Okay, I'm going to read some of the things that you've been writing from the bottom to the top. Shelley G, man looks outside, but God looks at our hearts. Yes. Shanna says, I can't stay on the live stream, but I'll watch it later. Good to know. Thank you. Thanks for letting us know, and I always appreciate you being here. Thanks for letting me know. Toby says, the world is a giant crazy ward. Well, let's talk about that for a moment. Dorothy says, inversion as the Bible speaks out. And Balancer00 said, hi Sylvia, God is immediate and imminent. Marco says, oh wow, that's a compliment. Thank you. It's a little hard to take. But yeah, so let's talk about this. for a minute. Why is it important that we recognize our divinity and recognize the rungs of the ladder going from belief to faith to fruition? Because if we don't, we'll just continue to see more of what we have. And most recently, I have been observing here and there, when I watch YouTube, I noticed that in Australia there was a kind of like all over the world actually, people are just taking their lives and they're feeling very lost and they're feeling like there's no foundation, rhyme, or reason, and they're frightened and all of these things. And I feel that if people understood just how close God is and just how good we can make this earth, I feel like we need more people to be enlightened, inspired. And when I say that enlightened, I just mean imbued with God's wisdom, as well as creating a flame and a force for good, like a force coming from God. Just like the wind has a force and the waves have a force, and even music has a vibration and a force, we can, as individuals, be positive. Here's the thing. It's not about fixing people, changing people, or converting people. No. It's about fruition within ourselves and the recognition. And when you become that being, everybody wants to know, how are you so happy? How did you do it? Why aren't you bothered by everything around you? Because then they become interested in you, and that's my goal, is to empower you so that you can carry that light and that wisdom and that uh, vibrational charisma to draw in people so that they can feel joy just off of your presence. That's what I would love, love, love for you all. And these principles about belief, faith, and fruition apply all over. So the truth never changes. It stays static. These principles never change. They stay static. If something can change, then it's most likely created either by man or an illusion that we can overcome through our faith and fruition. Now, our belief systems are at the bottom rung of it because I'm going to read comments momentarily. I definitely want to answer questions today. I want to make it really interactive. So we can have belief systems that are based on what we think is true. But there are certain things of what we feel that we know to be true. And I hope that you know that God is right in your heart and is giving you the power and the energy. Number one, giving you life, the life force. As soon as that spark leaves the body, decomposes, deteriorates, and leaves. So that spark, that light, that energetic creative force within us is God. And you are loved because God witnesses everything you think, say, and do, and believe and desire, everything, and still loves you. And now, could we all be of a better fruit in our fruition? Probably. I think that we all, as humans, have some things that could be improved upon, right? The standard things like selfishness or greed, or the things that drive us to do things that are not in our best interest. And here's how you know. Oftentimes, people need a barometer or measurement to see what is good. If what you are doing is good for everyone and is sustainable and is positive and generates love, you're on the right track. If what you're doing is not sustainable, not helpful for everybody, then probably you want to reevaluate those 3 steps. And belief systems have some limitations. Those 3 rungs I'm just talking about? If you just tuned in, we're talking about the 3 steps to God, 3 rungs. Belief systems leave room for interpretation, such as cultural interpretation, gender interpretation, all kinds of every human aspect. So when you believe something, you could belong to a certain train of thought or philosophy, certain groups. Those are beliefs, but beliefs don't entirely encompass and unite us or even define God as a whole. So thank you, Shelley, for answering and all the things that you do. I appreciate it. So compassion, truth, all of those things stay static, and those are the things that we can rely on and depend on. And faith is the next overtop belief. So when there's faith, we know certain things. Like what do we know? We know certain things about the world and about the universe and about life. But there are certain things that you may not know for sure yet, and that can increase your faith. And one of the things I'd like to share with you that I learned, that I do know now, and if you could just wrap your mind around the massiveness of this concept, that the universe is a reflection of you, and that the person that you see in the mirror is just a fragment of everything else that you are, and that you are so amazing, so grand, so all-encompassing, and that God lives right inside of you, and that we're connected. Like, can you wrap your head around that? Because if you can, you're going to understand and that you're able to wield the force and the will of God to make great things on this earth. Okay, time to read. Hey, Holly's here. Holly K. Hi, Silvia, and all enlightened, empowered, and shining God's light brightly. Thank you, and I'm glad that you are too, because you are a reflection. We all are reflecting. That's why this group is so awesome. This interactive Saturdays is because we're all reflecting one another to some degree or another, depending again on our belief, on our faith, and on our fruition. Okay, so now let's take a look at Craig. I hear you, Jim, on the patience issue. Okay, I want to go and read that. I'm woke, Richard says. That is a term, isn't it? With a whole, it has a whole loaded connotation behind it, woke. So I think that, we'll use terms like, connected to God and some good traditional terms. David says, repeat when you have knowing. As I put it, it doesn't change. Beliefs can change, but knowing stays correct. And Jim said, patience. I've got to learn more patience. I've never had it, Jim says. It may just be my thing to work on. Okay, so let's examine patience. Since you're here and you're so diligent, let's examine your question and let's examine patience. I know exactly what to say, and I want to soften it for you. Patience is understanding that what you desire isn't always going to show up the way that you think that it is. So it may be showing up, but it's not the way that what is going on in here? Hold on a minute, just 1 second. Let me get something. I want to show you guys something. I want to talk about patience too. Scooter, come here. I'm going to show you my little rescue dog. He's a little disheveled, and I let him be what he wants. So he had 3 homes, and then he got me in my home. And how you doing, buddy? Have you been really patient, sweetie? He's quite a little character, and he's got a real look to him. I want to go back to patience. So everyone stops. He's very interesting looking, isn't he? So recently I had to get his shots done. He had to get his shots done. And so what happened is I got the notification from the place where I adopted him from. And they said that he had been in 3 homes before he came to my home because he was so shut down. And I thought, what a great opportunity. Well, I didn't know that at the time when I got him. But what a great opportunity to connect and change his story. So, okay, back to the patience. It's when you don't want to accept reality the way that you see it. And there's 2 ways to look at that. 1, change it because you have the power within you to remove what's frustrating you. Or 2, understanding that whatever is frustrating you can teach you a lesson. So one or the other. You're either choosing to learn the lesson of patience through frustration, and that's a good thing, or you're changing it and transmuting it and doing what you want to create versus accepting the status quo. Both options are good, but patience shows that we have friction with our will and God's will. All right, patience, hope, create character. Right. So there's a difference between, this is a really good point. I want to talk to Dorothy's point too, but let me finish with the patience. Can you remind me to make sure I address Dorothy's? I don't want to forget. So with the patience, if you feel that it's frustrating, examine what it is that frustrates you. I'm not a big believer. This is a belief system, so take it or leave it. I'm not a big believer that we have to go around and be martyrs and suffer our whole lives. I don't think that that's massively purposeful. I think we're meant to be creators. So I'm not saying that you have to suffer in that kind of thing. Sorry about this. I'm just going to have to tell my daughter I'm live, so she doesn't give me a call while I'm on here. This is a real sort of intimate setting today. I guess I wore my t-shirt and I got my coffee and I'm feeling relaxed. So the patience part, I just want to tell you that examine it and come back and tell us next week what you learned from that and see if it's your will against God's will or something that you can be a co-creator along with God to create a new situation with. And if you want to tell us what the situation is, please go ahead. Okay, so Dorothy said I just lost my companion after 9 years. It's so hard losing them. Okay. Dorothy, can I be straightforward with you? Can I give you from my heart that to help? Okay. I just want to make sure that it's okay to go ahead and talk about it. I know we're in a live chat here, so I want to make sure that it's okay for me to go ahead. Okay. So Dorothy, it's inevitable that if you're in a partnership, one or the other is going to pass. Thank you for the super chat, Shelly G. It's inevitable that one of us is going to pass. And it's inevitable that we're all going to pass. Now, that doesn't make anything easier. However, things become catastrophic when we don't prepare for them. And in life, I don't know about you, but nobody wants to talk about that. Even when I try to talk to my spouse about it, or I try to talk to my children about it, they don't want to talk about it. I don't want to hear about when you pass away, what's going to happen. Like, sometimes I will say to them, let's talk about this. What are you going to do at that time? So on and so forth. So in order to manage these types of massive losses in our lives, I think it's important that we start opening up the dialogue. Thank you, Lily Jane. Appreciate that super chat. Thank you. So it's important that we open up that dialogue. And what does it mean if we start talking about with our partners, if that's the situation you're in, about death? It means, one, that you are going to treat them even better than you do because you recognize and you're bringing to the forefront that we're not here, our soul and our spirit, here forever. However, this experience has a beginning and an end. I believe we all have a destiny, death, life. Sorry, I meant my cat. Oh, okay. Well, we got partners. We got our partners in there too. And I think it's really important to talk about that with our partners. And, it brings up, and your cat too, but it brings up a really important topic. It's almost like, do you remember when we never used to talk about certain things, and now we do, and there have been movements and it's made it better. Okay. So, I apologize. Today's, oh my God, I have my dog's food here, and there's a fly that's going from the food to my dog to me. It's, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening right now. Anyhow, back to it. So I'm going to read some more comments. Lotus Music Productions says, bless you, and Dorothy sending you love and light. And also, I wanted to thank Lily Jane for her super chat. Oh dear, a fly in the ointment. Exactly. You know, I can't tell you how much joy that I have been feeling since releasing and letting go, and more importantly, recognizing that we are co-creators with God. And I don't know, do you guys feel the same way? Do you feel that you literally are a co-creator with God and creating your reality? Can you see that what you're seeing is a reflection, and that your vibration is either attracting or repelling whatever it is that you want? This joy of the Lord. Yes, yes, yes. Excellent. Haha, it's always awesome seeing it all live, raw, and real. Yeah, exactly. I don't mind going live, but you know, we've been pretty lucky. Things haven't been too bad. Like the guy who comes and does the lawn didn't come here today, just some dog food that was down there. That was a bit of a problem. Yes, we are all co-creators. Okay. So I really do. It's a journey. So now I've got a question for you now. My question for you is, if we are all co-creators and we all recognize that things are going a little askew out there, then how can we change it? How do you think that, what role do you think that you could play in making this world a better place? I'm going to read some of them. So I really want an answer to that. I really want to know how you as an individual can play a role at making this world a better place and taking charge of that. Okay, praying often. That's good. Cats is good people. My dad used to say cats is good people. Okay, Craig, that's good. Cats, dogs. You know, Ed says, we are all on a different journey to learn to love, and sometimes loss is difficult, but know that they have never left. Right. I don't think she's going to stop messaging me. And I don't know how to get to the messages. We can change our world in our bubble, and it matters. Loving more. Art, literature, music. I'm glad you brought that up, Pip. Holly K, by living an aware life and letting go of ego. Okay, good. Loving each other. All right. So we all have this concept. So what happens now when you're driving your car? I use this example sometimes. When you're driving your car and someone cuts in front of you, where is your love at that point? And does your love slip on down to the curb, or do you step up with it? I'm wondering if you guys face the same kinds of challenges when you go out and you feel the angry vibe and the sad vibe and the down vibe. What happens to your vibe? Okay, bless them. Okay, Cheryl says she'll bless them. Excellent. I have learned to always understand where others are coming from and respecting them. Good. So most of the time, I have this analogy that I share with my daughter, who's been texting me nonstop, that people are like oranges. When you squeeze them, whatever they're made of comes out. Or, you know, so like, well, clearly orange juice is going to come out. But people are like fruits, I guess, or however you want to name it. When you squeeze someone, put them under pressure, who they are comes out. And that's okay. You don't have to absorb that negativity. You just have to be patient and understanding with it. Jim Bruton, stress testing definitely tells you what you have. Hey, good to see you here, Jim. I don't know if you guys know this, but Jim Bruton is an NDEer, and he's got a book out. He's quite a big name in the NDE world, and it's so great to see you here. Really good. He has a YouTube channel too that you can check out. I love it because he breaks down his lessons from his NDEs, and he'll take a section of it and he'll talk about it. So after this show, I would recommend that you go check it out. All right. So Lily Jane says, my best friend's daughter was asked to say the prayer, 5 years old. Her dinner prayer was short and to the point, and she said, cats, cats, cats. Give money to charitable causes. Anti-maskers challenge me. Oh, anti-maskers. Okay, Toby, this is good. This is good. Anti-maskers challenge me. So let's talk about that for a second. I'm glad you brought that up because it's real and it is happening and it's a contemporary thing that goes on. If you're just watching and you want to pop in and say hello, please do in the chat area. Also, if you are here and you want to thumbs up this video, it helps it to circulate. And this is a down-to-earth, live, interactive discussion about the 3 steps to God. And Toby is just saying that anti-maskers challenge him. So when you say they challenge you because you are wearing a mask, or you feel challenged because they aren't wearing a mask, is the question. So remember, whatever your answer is, I can tell you straight off the bat that it's going to be not you, but the whole concept is based on fear. Fear and frustration. Fear and frustration breed contempt. And this is exactly why you and your vibration is so important. Because if you can vibrate higher and get the will of God and love in there and change the atmosphere, none of that is important anymore. None of it. And let me show you and illustrate to you how real that is. If you were in a grocery store, a large chain, and one person had a mask and one person didn't have a mask, and you were irritated, but there was a massive earthquake and the whole building fell down, and you could save that person without a mask, you would. I know you would, because it's in your nature and your character. So when things happen that are bigger than, which God is, bigger than our beliefs, that really ties in nicely with the ladder of beliefs, faith, and fruition. And the fruition part is when you would go there and save that person during that horrific catastrophe. Okay, so do we need to have a 5-bell alarm catastrophe all the time to love one another? Does it really matter? Do we think we have the power to physically force and enforce these things? Or do we understand that the force is within us, like the waves, the wind? The waves and wind, and fire and the elements, they change things far more drastically, dramatically, and on a massive scale than anybody trying to be cheeky to someone else and enforcing their will on the other person. And you know, we feel justified, like, oof, I believe this is true, so you should believe it's true. That seems like a minor infraction. It seems like they should, but it's actually the basis of all the stupidity that's happening. Not you. I don't want you to think you are. But that's actually the basis, that we're actually saying, well, if you don't do this and I do this and I do that. Do you ever notice that I never say a specific opinion that I have? Because I know that my opinions that I have immediately create polarity with people. Now, should you state, there's a difference between conjecture, belief systems that are not necessarily always accurate, and what the truth is. The truth is you want to be loved and you want to love people, and that you are a co-creator with God, and that collectively we have the power to do it. When we start to dissect and get really fastidious over irrelevant concepts. Now you might say, it's not irrelevant because these people are, spreading and doing and being bad and, But the fact is that love can transform, melt, fade away, change, clean, evacuate, make massive transformation. And if you really want to make transformation, continue to be loving, apply it, versus the other. Because the other seems like it's not bad, like to try to enforce what you believe, but in fact, it's probably the most corrosive thing. Okay, So, Shelly G, love God and love you, your neighbor as yourself. Holly K says, friends and family are asking how, why we can be so happy in these times. And we tell them we know this is part of God's eternal plan for us. And I'm focused on the love. Jim says, if it keeps someone else from getting sick, what's it hurt? Okay, right. Super chat. Thank you so much, Terry, for the super chat. I really appreciate that. Okay. Do you see where we're going here? This is a really good point to illustrate, but I don't want to kick the hornet's nest. Some people believe one thing and other people believe the other. And can you see with your eyes, heart, and soul, not with what you think, not through your belief system, but through fruition, can you see how that can create combustion and problems? Because you want that person to think and believe, and that person's thinking and believing something different. They're not thinking I want to hurt you. They're thinking I'm tired, I'm frustrated, I'm losing hope in that this is going to be okay, and I don't know what to do. I'm at my wit's end and I need to take a stand. Okay? That's what they think. What you think is you're being an ignorant person and you're not caring about anyone else, but in fact you're both wrong. There's nothing going to change this until we come to love, compassion, and care about one another, regardless of what side you're on. Regardless of what side you're on. And being pious and saying, well, I do it because I care. You don't do it because you don't care. Look, you can't run away from humanity. Humanity is part of you, and you are part of it, and we are here collectively together, all 7.7 billion of us. And instead of being the person to say, you should have done this, or we should have done that, we could be the person to say that we're going to do this together. And how could we collectively use our talent to overcome this? How can we collectively use our talents to do, say, invent, be exact goodness for everyone? Instead, when there's stress, just like in a relationship or in a marriage, here's what happens. When there's external stress on a marriage from the outside, damn it. I guess I shouldn't be talking about this. Hold on just a sec. It just means that the people aren't coping very well. And what people do is they attack one another. So instead of attacking one another, we need to work together collectively. And this whole situation is highlighting the fact and giving us an opportunity that we can collectively work together so that we can cure it. Look, there's only 7.7 billion of us. Do you think that we could come up with a good solution to help and help understand what it is, help to create a cure for what it is, and help to do everything? I'm frustrated. Okay, so Lotus Music. I'm going to open the door. Give me a sec to open the door, okay? Love you, Sylvia. You guys are so patient today. Okay, here comes the door, and there goes that down. There we go. Yeah, exactly. Put me to the test. Holly K, we are all divine beings regardless of our belief systems, and we can work together. Yeah. And you know, the belief systems are the bottom rung. The second rung is our faith. And then the third rung is fruition. If I had to put myself on a rung, I feel like I'm teetering from the second to the third rung. That's my goal, is to become. And that's why I started the channel, so that I could share this, because it needs to be a collective thing. It's not like I could become without you. We become together. If I became on my own, it would be a lonely place. Thank you for the super chat. Okay. Oh, Sergio, please. That's your name. Funny how the word lie is in belief. Interesting. Never thought about that. Holly said, we are all divine beings. Yes. Okay, looking through here, we all need non-dual thinking. Love conquers everything. Exactly. Toby, that is a lot of souls. Yeah. So, there is the whole system, FYI, the way that it is right now, as a humanity, we're all on the bottom rung. We're all trying to tell each other that our belief system is either right or wrong, no matter where you live or what you're doing, what your belief system is. And we're always looking. Look, I'm going to give you guys an analogy, and some of you will understand this analogy from the Abundance Challenge. And I'm going to just put it out there for you guys. And thank you for being here and listening. So here's the analogy. Life is like a soccer game. Yes. You've got a big field, and some people are prepared for the role that they play on the field, and some people are not. You've got the sidelines. You've got the injured person who is injured and wounded and focuses on the injury and wound. They're either at home or they're there on the bench. Then you have people on the bench that haven't been selected yet because they haven't cultivated what they have to share yet. And then you have the people on the bench that want to go on, but they critique the game. Oh, I would have done that. I would have played this the way. Then you have the people who don't know how to play the game, so they have to learn how to play the game. Then you have the person that gives away the sandwiches and the Gatorade, and they're the person that supports the people on the field. Then you have the striker, the offense, the defense, and the goalie. Did I ever play soccer? No. Which role are you? Are you the person on the bench looking at everyone saying what's right or wrong? Are you the person who's playing and scoring the goals? Are you assisting the goals? Are you defending your goalie plays? So you see, when you see how prepared you are and that relationship between how you interact with other people, you can see that you're playing a role. The role that you've prepared yourself to play, and the role that people interpret you through your vibration, through your actions. If you're not ready to play the game and to go in, you will be on the sidelines, and innately you're going to play one of the roles of the people on the sidelines. Or if you're excited about interacting and becoming, let me give you an example of somebody who is a striker. Anybody who has made an invention, like the guy who, I think he was from Canada, the guy who created insulin, for example. I would put him in the category of striker. He's making goals. He's trying to change humanity for the better. Whether, that's for type 1 diabetes, not type 2 diabetes, although probably they do too. We're not going to go there because I know quite a bit about diabetes. But that individual has made a contribution to humanity that has been helpful for so many people. Or there's other people that just sit in their homes and they're good people and they just do, they have a nice family and they're taking care of their business and they're working their jobs and they're contributing to society. Those are good people too. But what role are you playing? And if we are playing the role of sitting on the sidelines and judging people for how they're playing the game, we need to step it up. I'm not going to judge that. We just need to step it up. Okay, let's see what you guys are thinking about this. Great analogy. Observe, appreciate all players, helpers, and observers. Yes, and also determine where you are on the field or off the field. And understand that there are certain rules to the game and that they belong to the 3 rungs and are how we interpret ourselves. Through our belief systems, but that's the first. Remember, belief systems are imbued with and shadowed with cultural types of ideals. If you can transcend all of those things and go within your heart and connect directly to God, the truth will come out real plain, real clear. And the truth never changes and the truth stays the same always. And the truth is the only way out of this is through connecting, using our talents, helping, and having faith that we can and will overcome it united. Okay, was scared at the thought. I thought she was going to go, life is like a box of chocolates. No, I'm not Forrest Gump. Holly, all the roles are important, and the roles I play change depending on circumstances. Exactly. Right. So we have to just think about this for a moment. Working in direct patient's care, loving, transcending, taught me to be in the present, says Lotus Music. Run, Forrest, run. Ha, ha, ha. Lily Jane, I try to practice going through my day, not judging people because you never know a person's backstory. Yeah. That's a really good point. If I may also, hi Scooter, if I may also show you, yes, Lily Jane, it's important not to judge people because we don't know what their backstory is. But there's an even deeper reason why it's important not to judge people, because it keeps us away from God, because God is about us being together. Um, we have the light of God within us, and when we join with other people, the light gets greater. So if we are choosing to be apart, and when you judge, you automatically create separation. So really, not judging is to our own benefit. Judging creates separation and loneliness is not good for anybody. That's why there's so many of us. That's why there's 7.7 billion, so we're not lonely. So we do have a talent pool, so we can come up with solutions so that we can help each other and the world get better. Frequently people think, well, I won't judge because I'm being compassionate. But I'm going to tell you, you can even step up your game, your soccer game, even further by not judging, because you know ultimately that that's not going to get us to God. And the whole topic of the show is 3 steps to God. The first one is your belief system. The next one is faith, and faith is so powerful. And the next one is fruition, and that is actually being. When you see somebody who's offensive, you will understand, there's my awesome brother, sister. I am going to not try to change them. I'm going to love and be love. They won't be able to resist the force and the vibration that I'm putting out, because they are going to turn to me and see me smile and see me be happy and see me be prosperous on every different level. And they're going to be curious and ask me why. But when you turn that table and then you say, well, the opposite, you know what the opposite is, right? It's also the power of attraction, and the law of attraction works based on that. Sylvia, you are the referee. Okay, thank you. I'm the referee. I don't know. I feel like, I'm not sure which one it is, but it takes faith and fruition. Like, I want to be part of fruition. Understand, before I had my channel, I just sat and had all of these thoughts by myself. And then when I had my channel, the reason why I created this space for all of us is so that the fire and the light within us can grow. The co-creator can grow. And it has done wonders inside. The kingdom within me has really expanded as a result of that. And that can't be done alone. It's together that you can actually do that. And it's not about trying to be nice. It's about the logistics of connection with God. It's about understanding there is no other option. That's why I say frequently that your success is inevitable, because we all will come to the final realization that united is where you find God. First within, then without, and all together. And we are so powerful when we do unite on that level. Okay, so proud of you, my friend. Hey, look at you, Jacob Cooper. We got another NDEer in the house. Good to see you. Cynthia, I work on this every day. I'm seeing 3s a lot. What does that mean? So Ed, interesting. Now, what I'm about to tell you is that the reason you're seeing 3s a lot, according to what my belief system is because you are the manifester of your life. So everything that you see outside of you, and this is probably, I think, the second or third time I've mentioned that what you see is you. So you are reminding yourself of the synchronicities and the connection between you as co-creator and the reality outside of you. It's not a coincidence. It is meant to be, but it is a projection, the universe projecting back to you who you are. And I find it most interesting, and in a bit of a cheeky way, I find it interesting because people really like to dive into the details and find things. They want to know specialized information, and you probably already know this. God's simple. And to get to God is even simpler because He's right within us. And all of the other details, I'm being tested, all of the other details are they're okay, but they're kind of like the fluff stuff in comparison to meeting and knowing God. But I guess we are all at that stage where we're trying to make help understand what's happening in this world. So we're constantly looking and seeking and asking other people and going to see people to tell them what the answer is. But the answer is right within you. The thing is it can be hard if you don't believe that God is right within you. I want to read some of these. Okay. Unity, yes. I mean, it's such a cliche overused saying, but I use it too much anyways. That must have been a comment above. Okay, I believe in manifesting also includes divine timing. Yeah, sure. So let's talk about that. We've got a little bit of time. We've got 10 minutes left. And if you're here and you're watching, go ahead and comment. Today has been a very interesting, entertaining live stream. So I want to talk about divine timing. If you are the co-creator of your reality, does it make sense to have synchronicities? And does it make sense that timing is divine? Or are you attracting or repelling opportunities, situations, timings based on the vibration that you hold? So I guess the question is, gets heady, is the universe outside of yourself, or are you manifesting the universe? And the answer is you are manifesting the universe. So divine timing, synchronicities, all of those things are a part of us recognizing who we are. It's like a wake-up call. It's like, boom, you threw something out and it's come back to you because the universe is reflecting exactly who you are. It's kind of it is a little bit hard to sort of come to terms with that. Now that I'm okay with that and I get it and I understand it, it's so empowering. But in the beginning, when people told me that, I'm like, what are you talking about? No, everything is outside of me. I'm a victim of circumstances. I'm here because such and such. I did not see myself as the powerful being that I am co-creator with God, that you are co-creator with God. You see, you become powerless when you see the outside is different from you. When you have the what I believe is the interpretation that the universe exists and is coming on and has its forces towards you. Instead, when you see that you are the co-creator and the projector of it, you can now manage it. You can now become the fruition that I've been talking about as the third rung. That's the whole thing right there. Wow, you guys went right into that. What we believe we receive, right. So no problem, RRLLL. Okay, so what we believe we receive. So our belief systems that's the first step. So there's 3 rungs that we were talking about towards God. So our belief systems do play into it. So what you believe, you receive. And then the second, what you have faith, the faith that you know becomes your reality. And then when you recognize that reality, that you're a part of the co-creator, then you have fruition. And that, my friends, thank you, Holly K. Wow, what a generous super chat. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And that, my friends, is when you connect with God. That's where you want to go. I even want to tell you, faith moves mountains, yeah. I even want to tell you, I'll tell myself, don't waste your time, Sylvia, on worrying about who did what and how it happened and where you were born and what your parents did. And that keeps you at a low vibration when you play the shame, blame, pain game. Now, I know that this might be offensive to some people, but the pain, shame, blame game keeps you at a vibe that is powerless and that you become a victim of circumstances. And I'm going to tell you, take up the power that was given to you from the Creator as co-creator and level up to faith and know that you are that, and then level up to becoming that. So nothing is going to shatter your world. You're Alpha and Omega. You're never going to die. Thank you so much for the beautiful super chat. And your name is Aralis Rodriguez. Thank you so much. So let's go back. We're going to one more time before we end this, okay? We've got 5 minutes. Thank you for your super chats. It means a lot. So rung 1, belief systems. What you believe you do receive, but that's the bottom rung. It's not to say that it's a bad rung, but it's the bottom rung. The next rung is faith, what you know, what you know, what you know becomes real. What you know becomes real. And then, you guys are amazing. What you know becomes real. And then fruition is when you become real. And let's go one step deeper. What the world needs right now is that fruition. And when you see somebody and you recognize through your wisdom that is probably not going to be beneficial, maybe it's a learning experience, whatever it is, when you see something that comes onto your radar, take the love from within you and eradicate any doubt and imbue it with faith. And just remember this, if you never hear another word that I say, remember this, that your faith will make you whole and people will flock to you when you radiate God. You'll never be without, because everybody will want to know where your joy comes from, because ultimately that's what we really want. We want love, we want joy, we want all those things. Why do you think we go out and try to do all these things to impress and to make this and to do that? And that, thank you, Craig, very much, is because we want that love. Because, I think that you believe that there is life after death. I also think that you believe we can't take any of this material stuff with us, even though it helps us along the way. I know that you believe that, you guys. So why would we work so hard at accumulating that? Because we're trying to fill something. And what we're trying to fill is that light. And the way to get it is by being it. So God isn't somewhere else, and a good life in heaven isn't somewhere else, is right here. And I challenge all of you until next week to A, create heaven on earth. B, get in touch with your divine. C, become the divine. Go up the rungs of the ladder quickly. And also, I want you to, if you can, in order to help, if you enjoyed it, to spread the message, go ahead in the comments area. I know you commented here. Like it, comment, because then the algorithm of YouTube will say more people watch it. And if more people watch it, we get a bigger crowd on Saturdays and the message gets out. Why? Because we all want to create unity with one another so that we can do this. Not because we want to be Pollyanna, but because we have the power to create heaven on earth today, now. Not tomorrow, not in 1,000 years, not in the past, but right now. And it's all up to us. And you can literally change things like that. It's a choice, it's a decision, and it's a good one. So I leave you with that. Thank you very much. We're right at the end. I'm going to read a couple of these notes. If I didn't answer your question, here's your opportunity right now. There's 2 minutes left. Jim, that part I still have a hard time believing. You tell me which part. You tell me which part is hard to believe, Jim. Heaven seems elsewhere. I'm with you. I'm with you, okay? I'm getting real. I don't know if this thing is trying to stop me from talking. Let me get my lavender here. I guess I just should go. Trust me that heaven is, well, why don't I ask you something? Instead of trying to convince you that heaven is here, let me ask you why you think heaven is not here. Let me ask you why you think heaven is not here. And then you tell me why heaven is not here. And that in part has to do with gratitude. Like for what we do have, like when we feel impatience, when we feel upset, and when we think heaven is somewhere else, what we're not doing is acknowledging, and this isn't an accusation, I'm saying a generalization. When I feel down and I'm not happy with where I am, it's because I don't have gratitude for what is. And when you cultivate gratitude for what is, it becomes bigger, and it attracts more of it. Remember, I told you, you're either attracting or repelling. attracting or repelling. When we have a lack of gratitude, we repel opportunities, love, circumstances. When we have gratitude and we generate, we're attracting, okay? And I know that you're sincere, and I know that you're genuine, and I also know that your success is inevitable in your connection, because you're here every week, you're trying, you're doing. And we're all going to send our love to you, Jim, and to everybody here. And thank you for the super chats again, everyone. And next week, Jim, I want you to have a report back to me, and really try to focus on gratitude for the things that are. The fly. Yeah. It's well, I feel those we lose go to heaven, not Ontario or Texas. So, okay. Okay. Mm-hmm. Well, I'm going to leave you with that thought. And, yeah. Can I ask you one question about that? I know we're kind of moving on, but can I ask you one question about that? So, you have a great grandma. And where is she? Oops. Is it time to go? Where is she? She lives within you, and the way that your body is in part is composed of her. It's just an ever renewing. And when we continue to focus on what we lost rather to understand that those our ancestors are within us, within our DNA, and live on in us, we are the promise of who they were. And life doesn't end, it transforms. All right. No, you're not being combative. Not at all. I don't see it as combative. Jim, I love that you're here. Hopefully you understood that every single person whom you're, and FYI, I said I was going to go, but FYI, this is a good one for those of you that want to stay. So all of your great grandparents that ever lived are in your DNA, and you are living out their dream. Bra strap out, flies out. This is a really disheveled one. You are living out and actualizing the fruition of who they are. But guess what? In the end, we are all related to one another. And yet, we don't want to find the comfort. You, and I say this with a very loving heart, you, me, whoever's suffering because they lost would rather suffer the loss of who is gone temporarily than all the loved ones that are here. Focus on loving the people in your immediate hemisphere and generate the love that you're looking for right now. And have faith and know in God's plan. And also know that you carry the nose on your face. Everything is of your relatives. Your entire makeup is through your genetic connection. And when you trace it all the way back, we're all connected. So boom, there's the whole point of the story. We're all connected. We should all love one another. If you're on 23andMe, you will see, thank you, David, you will see that I recommend it, checking out your DNA, because I never realized I had so many relatives all over the world. And knowing that I have all these relatives in the world makes me see that I should really be loving to everyone, because I am related to everyone, and so are you. Bye-bye for now.